When you think about the greatest Smash players to ever pick up the controller across any Smash game, they all share something in common. They may not all play the same character, they may not even play the same game. And a lot of times, the Smash greats have completely different playstyles. Some players can be campy, while others play aggressively at all times. And some of the best have the ability to mix in both playstyles into their game to win time after time. So what could I possibly be talking about when I say they all share something in common? Well, let me explain. When you look at any competitive field, whether it be Smash, a different esport, or even sports in general, every great player or athlete have their one defining moment. And sure, if you're the best at your game, you're gonna have a ton of memorable moments winning because, I mean, if you're the best, that means you win a lot. But I'm talking about the moment that turned great players into the best players, when they had their backs against the wall and still found a way to overcome the odds. The moment that elevated their greatness into an even higher tier. Let me give you a few examples. Let's start off with Hungrybox here. What would you say is Hungrybox's most iconic or memorable tournament moment of all time? I'll give you a second. Alright, time is up, and of course the answer to that is when HBox almost managed to take a game off of Leo at Summit. Okay, joking aside, it is without a doubt Evo 2016 when HBox reset the bracket against Armada in one of the greatest comebacks we've ever seen in Melee to secure his first Evo championship in a grand finals that lasted 10 games. Evo has always been seen as the tournament of all tournaments, and to be able to call yourself an Evo champion is something that only a handful of people can do. This was a career-defining moment for HBox because time after time he came so close to winning Evo, but he just was never able to do it. And for him to be able to do it in the fashion that he did it, it's just the most memorable moment ever for HBox. And these career-defining moments that I'm talking about honestly can mean different things for different players, and it doesn't always necessarily mean that a player had to win the tournament for it to be memorable. I'd have to say the most recent example of this would be SkyJ at Collision this year. SkyJ has always been considered a strong player, but he never really had that big moment at a major tournament that elevated him to that next tier of greatness until Collision. He went on an insane run with a character that has historically been seen as a lower mid tier, and he was able to place second at an insanely stacked tournament due to it being the final qualifier for the final summit. And ever since that moment, SkyJ's placings have elevated to that next tier of greatness. He's been consistently placing well at every event since. Okay, just to recap so far, we've talked about career-defining moments, we've talked about some of the best Smash players, and we've talked about some of the biggest tournaments. So how about we transition into talking about when the best Smash Ultimate player had his career-defining moment at the biggest tournament of all time. And for that, we're gonna have to take a quick rewind back to 2019. Evo 2019, the first Evo to feature the newest Smash game, but at the expense of losing its oldest Smash game.
Every Ultimate player should boycott Evo and just not go.
This tournament had the ultimate build-up as it will be the largest Smash tournament of all time. And I'm not just talking about for Ultimate, I'm talking about the largest Super Smash Bros. Tournament from any game in the series of all time. Smash Ultimate hadn't even been out for a year yet, but it was very clear who the best players were, and both Tweek and MKLeo were the clear frontrunners for best player in the world. A few days before Evo, the first season of PGR rankings for Smash Ultimate were announced, and of course MKLeo was listed in first place with Tweek not far behind at second place. I mean, Leo had a near perfect record for S tier events in America with only one second place finish at Frostbite where he actually lost to Tweek.
Ooh. Hey, Leo needs to knock him off the stage. Oh no! Oh no! Oh my God! There he is! The champion of Frostbite!
Tweek, on the other hand, had a few more inconsistencies with his results, but overall his results were still more impressive than anybody else, with the exception of Leo. Tweek didn't have a chance to attend as many tournaments as Leo, including missing CEO, which was the final tournament that counted towards these rankings, but he had already proven that he could contend with the best player in the world. And a lot of people actually predicted that he would claim that title at Evo.
Tweek, probably the man to be right now in Ultimate, probably the best player.
This tournament would essentially decide who the best player would be in Ultimate, and it would set the precedent moving forward in Ultimate's lifespan. Evo 2019 would feature over 3,500 entrants, including top players from all around the world. It will be no easy task for any player to climb their way to Grand Finals. Even just making top 96 of this tournament will be crazy impressive, considering that's something that only like 2% of the entrants were able to do at this tournament. And that kind of proves what I said earlier about Tweek and MKLeo. They were clearly the front runners to hold the title of the best Smash Ultimate player because they were both able to find themselves sitting in Grand Finals at the most stacked event to ever exist. But don't get it twisted, their paths to Grand Finals were by no means easy. Tweek basically had to go through all of Japan's best players at the time. He had to play Leo's Greninja in a set that went 3 games to get out of round 2 pools, and that led to him playing another Game 3 set against Proto. Then he had to play against Abadongo, who was one of the best Japanese players back in Smash 4, and that eventually took him to winner's side top 8, where he would 2-0 Samsora and clutch out a Game 5 against Gluto to sit in winner's side Grand Finals.
Gets the back air, he's gonna try to throw out the Razor Leaf, it knocks him off the bike, but it's not enough, he reads the rope!
I mean, over half of these sets that I just mentioned could have easily been a of set that you would see in grand finals at a major. That's crazy. Now, if you paid attention to what I just said, then you'll notice that Tweek played against Gluto in winners finals to advance to grands. So the obvious question is, where was MKLeo? Well, his path to grand finals was a little more complicated. To kick off top 32 at this tournament, MKLeo had to play against Kameme, another Smash 4 legend from Japan that carried the Mega Man meta back in that game.
There it is. There it is.
Kameme still played Mega Man going into Ultimate, and he was still seen as one of the better players in Japan. That being said, I don't think anybody expected him to take even a game off of Leo, much less an entire set, and especially not in the 2-0. Both games in the set came down to the wire, but Kameme managed to close out the set in a 2-0 fashion, shocking everybody.
Oh my god, that's gonna be the set!
MKLeo getting sent to the losers bracket. You saw how I couldn't even say that Kameme sent MKLeo to the losers bracket.
And this meant that MKLeo, the #1 player in the world, was at risk of getting 17th place at Evo. But instead, we witnessed that defining moment that every great player experiences at some point in their career. MKLeo played a total of 15 sets. 15 sets to get to grand finals. He managed to get 14 wins and 1 loss in sets against some of the best players from Japan, Europe, Mexico, and the US to climb all the way to grand finals, where he would face his biggest challenge yet. He would have to defeat Tweek in not only 1 but 2 best-of-5 sets in order for Leo to claim the title of Evo champion and the best Smash Ultimate player in the world. His run so far was impressive, but it wouldn't mean anything if he wasn't able to finish this thing off. He had to beat Tweek, there was no question about it. He had to prove that he was the best player in the world and make sure that nobody could question it. Now, before we get to this grand final set, let's just hear a quick message from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor of the video is absolutely nobody. That's right, I'm still a growing channel and I know these things take time. I would like to get to a point eventually where I could get sponsors for videos. So for that to happen, I need you guys to sponsor me for now. And I'm not talking about donations or money or anything like that. All I need you to do is hit that subscribe button. It's very simple. My dog can even do it in her sleep. Alright, back to the video. Grand Finals of Evo 2019, Tweek vs MKLeo to decide the first ever Evo champion for Smash Ultimate. This is easily the most famous Smash Ultimate set ever, with the original set having 3.6 million views on YouTube currently, and the set having a peak of 279,000 viewers live on Twitch, setting the record for the highest peak viewership for any fighting game in the history of Evo. The world eagerly watched to see if Tweek would be able to claim the Evo title, or if MKLeo would complete the craziest run we've ever seen. Game 1 started off with Tweek swinging out the gate, but MKLeo didn't back away and kept the game close. Both players were at even percents to start their last stocks, but Tweek managed to close out game 1 with an up air from Charizard.
Covered by Leo, not sure what he was looking for there though, but now he's in a horrible spot. Charizard gonna launch him off, and now, how's he getting back up?
Not like that. Tweek wins game 1. Tweek is just 2 games away from silencing everyone and winning the biggest Smash tournament of all time.
This time for game 2, it was Leo that came out swinging and quickly built up the damage on Tweek, but it honestly didn't matter because Tweek found a way to steal that first stock. Once again, Tweek used Charizard to close out the game, but this time it was in a dominating 2-stock.
The biggest Smash tournament. Tweek is just 2 games away from silencing everyone and winning the biggest Smash tournament of all time.
But I'm talking about the moment that turned great players into the best players, when they had their backs against the wall and still found a way to overcome the odds. The moment that elevated their greatness into an even higher tier.
Leo has our set out. This could go either way.
Oh, he reads him, but he does not pull the trigger on that forward side now. This could take him out. Oh, okay, no punish for that rapid charging on his shield. So lucky, but here's a grab opportunity. No follow up. Yeah, he is not falling for that falling down there or those Pokemon switches off stage.
And And just like that, the bracket was reset. The playing field had been evened out. One last best of 5 set was left to determine who the #1 Smash Ultimate player would be moving forward in this game. Would Tweek be able to bounce back and win the set, or was the momentum shift to MKLeo too much for him to handle? Well, all I can say is make sure you don't accidentally tap forward on your screen to fast forward the video 10 seconds, because then you'll miss it. That's right, MKLeo dominated the bracket reset and essentially completed a reverse 6-0 on Tweek. Tweek was up 2-0 in the first set of Grand Finals and was a missed spike away from becoming the Evo champion. But instead, he lost 6 games straight to give MKLeo the win, solidifying himself as the best Smash Ultimate player in the world. It was honestly heartbreaking to see how close Tweek was to winning it all. He had so many close moments when he almost clutched it out, but at the same time, it was incredible to see MKLeo pull off one of the craziest losers runs we ever seen. In a tournament with over 3,500 entrants, Leo found himself down but not out throughout the entire bracket. He had so many close sets with top players that could have flipped the entire script if 1 or 2 things would have changed. And I think about this all the time when I watch tournament sets. What if that player didn't SD in the set? What if that Game & Watch landed a 9? What if the player went for the correct read at the end of the game that would have sealed the set? In some of those sets, if one thing would have changed, how would that have changed the entire tournament? But make no doubt about it, MKLeo didn't just get lucky to win this tournament. His dedication to the game and hours of practice prepared him to make the run of his life and cement himself amongst the all-time Smash legends. There's always going to be a combination of bracket luck or lucky situations that help players out in tournaments, but without their hours of practice and dedication to the game, they wouldn't stand a chance. Leo didn't just give up after being sent to losers early in the bracket. He knew what he would have to do in order to win the whole tournament, and instead of just putting his head down, he kept fighting. Evo 2019 was Leo's career-defining moment. As always, I want to thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video and watching the entire thing. The support has been crazy, especially for my last video. It has over 24,000 views. Absolutely insane. I really do enjoy making these types of videos. They do take me a long time to edit, so it really means a lot when I get that support with the likes, with the subscriptions, all that kind of stuff. And it really means a lot to the channel as well. We're going crazy fast. So if you enjoyed this video, I do have other videos that you can check out that are kind of similar. And of course, you can always leave your suggestions in the comments below. I definitely take those into consideration when I'm thinking about video ideas. So if you have like a favorite set that you want me to revisit, I might actually do that for you. Thank you again for watching this video and supporting the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.